Hello, and welcome to another self-sabotaging episode of We Only Look Thin. I am one of your hosts, Donald Weigel, and I have lost a little over 100 pounds. And with me, as always, is...
I am Catherine Weigel, and I have lost 150 pounds, and I am inspiring. Let's move on.
Wow! Wow!
I'm hungry. My stomach is rumbling.
She is, getting down to business.
Boom! Sorry. No, Donald is inspiring, and he has lost a lot of weight. I'm sorry that I let my...
Wow.
I don't know.
Donald is inspiring. He has lost a lot of weight. Let's move on.
People
I'm very
know
hungry.
This. People know this
We are moving
about
on.
us. Wow. You're getting the actual side of me that Donald sees all the time.
Yeah.
Time is money. Tick tock. We're not getting paid for this. We're doing it for free. Let's take our time. We're not losing money.
Yeah, we're not getting paid by the minute. That's
Nope,
for sure.
We are not AT&T. We are not Ma Bell from the 80s. So
wow,
hi.
that's taking us back.
Listen, all
10
y'all.
collect or whatever that
Listen,
was.
all y'all. It's a sabotage episode of We Only Look Thin.
Yes, I don't know if you. I'm sure everyone out there has seen the classic Beastie Boys video.
The best music video that has ever happened in the universe.
It is certainly arguably the best one that's ever been done for the song Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. We are going to talk about sabotage and how you do it to yourself.
We can't stand it. We know you planned it. You are listening to We Only Look Thin.
Yes.
See, I wanted a quick opening, and I'm just dragging it out.
Yep.
Dragging it out.
Yep.
Love the Beastie Boys.
I think you're self-sabotaging this opening. Personally, that's what I think.
We're all our own worst enemies, aren't we, Donald?
We sure are.
We sure are. So we are going to be talking about sabotage today.
And before we do that, we have a tip of the week. Tao!
Tao!
And later, we have an actual bona fide real product of the week, unlike last week's episode where we just
phoned
phoned in the product of the week. We have a real good one this time.
So the tip of the week.
Tip of the week to you.
Tip of the week to you is one and done.
One and done? What does that mean? Are we talking about some sort of sports tournament?
People love rhyming phrases. If the glove fits, you must acquit, or doesn't fit, whatever it was.
Whatever it was.
He wasn't guilty.
Whoa. This took a serious turn quick.
Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. I'm not Johnny Cochran, but we're going to talk about one and done.
In many, many ways, you are not Johnny Cochran.
You're no Johnny Cochran.
Look, I'm no Johnny Cochran, and you
are no Johnny Cochran.
No Johnny Cochran.
So one and done. I'm going to talk about it now. A friend, a co-weight loss loser in a group that I was a part of, talked about. Her name is Sherry. I'll start with that.
Hello, Sherry.
One name, one and done, like Cher.
Yeah,
only Sherry. She talked about in her life with her kids and with her weight loss plan, the idea of only having one of something a day. One apple, one bag of chips, one healthy, helpful snack, one indulgence. And the purpose was, and she wasn't telling her kids or herself, she wasn't putting a caloric value on any food, but just adding variety into your meal plan for every day.
Yeah, and you were telling me, a lot of times what you do with Smart Pop. Is Smart Pop, Skinny Pop, whatever it's called?
Skinny Pop.
Smart. Skinny Pop, which is also your rap name.
Little Skinny Pop.
Little Skinny Pop.
You take Lil and then the last thing that you ate, and that's your rap name.
Yeah.
Speaking
mine's a little fun size.
What a Lil Beastie Boy. I wonder if that's what they have.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm Lil Skinny Pop. Donald, tell them what you were going to say about me eating low-calorie foods.
Well, I thought you were going to tell them about it, but you have told me that you will, sometimes you'll eat a bag of Skinny Pop, which is 100 calories. It's a popcorn thing.
And then why not eat another one?
Why not have another one? It's only 100.
Why not have another
one?
Why
not 3? And then before you know it, you've had 300 calories of Skinny Pop when you could have just had 300 calories of something,
more substantial
truly
and actual food.
filling and
Well,
Yeah.
and that's a whole other
Not that there's anything
episode.
wrong with Skinny Pop, but the point is you eat one of them and it's only 100 calories, but suddenly
Right.
you're 300 in.
Why not, instead of having three skinny pops, which ends up being one big pop, have an apple, have a banana, have one skinny pop, have a yogurt, have a hard-boiled egg. Add some variety in there. I get kind of obsessive about foods. I know.
What? You mean you didn't get to 300 pounds by
First, we're going to tell you what a record is, and then we're going to make a record.
Then we're
going to
make a record skip, and then we're going to do the DJ air horn sound because I enjoy it.
You sounded like a maniacal
I don't
Lex
know.
Luthor. I was like,
I missed rehearsal for this podcast earlier and didn't really practice.
But I have said it before. When I did Weight Watchers and things had point values, I thought the points in themselves were tools for weight loss. So if there was a snack that was a single point snack, I would eat 8 of them and be like, look at me losing weight with low point snacks, when instead I could have had half of a Big Mac and had been more satisfied than just eating 100-calorie packs over and over again. So the notion of variety in your nutrition each day, a variety of colorful foods on your plate.
Yeah, and like telling yourself ahead of time, like, I will only have one of these things, whatever that one thing is, even if it's something that's, in your plan and quote unquote healthy, or low calorie, just telling yourself you have one, it's sort of, for me, it helps defeat that, binge trigger thing that I have.
I definitely have a compulsive eating issue, which if I buy one protein bar, I will eat one protein bar. If I buy 5, I will have 5. That's a single serving. So I have to really watch myself with buying more than one of something because I compulsively eat more than one.
Yeah, and not to get off on a crazy tangent, but we were actually talking this morning on our morning walk about how, like, I can have a bag of fun-sized peanut M&Ms in the house.
Little fun size.
Like, it's a bag that has little fun size packs. Like, each pack is 90
so
calories.
Fun.
Like, I can have that in the house. What I cannot have in the house is a bag of just loose peanut M&Ms, because then the barrier is gone. Like, I just can eat all of that. But telling myself I'm going to have one fun size pack, like, I can do that and I can stick to it. Like, it's all a mental game, but for some reason it really works.
Yeah, so know yourself better. I have lost 150 pounds. You might not know that about me, but I
never mentioned
I
it.
still have to remind myself that I cannot indulge in every impulse that I have, because I still have those compulsive urges. I still want to eat more than one of something. So
they're resting below the surface like a shark.
Even if it's a healthy thing, I know one person in our accountability group talked about, like, compulsively eating cherries or grapes, and it's like, it's a healthy food. It's a zero.
Somebody recently posted that they couldn't stop eating bananas.
But it's that. The idea in Weight Watchers, especially, that something is a 0-point food, I will eat 90 of a 0-point food.
Right.
And there is still an impact from that. Like, sure, I didn't get to 300 pounds eating broccoli, but someone posted in our group about a 1 smart point chili that they made, or a soup or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would eat the entire bucket,
the whole
of it.
bucket,
like
bucket o' chili.
Yeah, the notion that something doesn't have an impact because it's 0 calorie or whatever. Like, so put some barriers around. Decide that you're going to mix up your food variety for each day. It's an idea. It's a tip. It's a tip. You can take it or leave it.
Tip of the week to you.
Take it or leave it to you.
Tow.
So yeah, that's it.
And that is your Walt tip of the week.
The tip of the week.
Don't say we didn't give you anything. I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
So now, listen, all y'all, we're going to talk about sabotage.
Sabotage.
And planning it and not planning it and
I'm
being
putting
shocked
on my
by
70s
it.
cop mustache as we speak. I'm doing
Cochise.
the whole rest of this podcast
Those Beastie Boys
with
were
a
so good.
with a tie that's like 5 inches wide and a cop mustache and aviator sunglasses.
Pork chop, mustache, sideburns, or whatever.
Oh, I didn't buy those.
Ooh. So, Sabotage. We spent 3 decades each sabotaging ourselves.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
being surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole, like, you've come up with I think you came up with it, the life cycle of the sabotage.
I did.
Yeah.
So tuck in, people. Here we go. There are many types of sabotage, and I think we're going to start off with the short-sighted, end game finish line sabotage that I did from age 18 to 41.
Yeah, and hopefully we can, through doing this, maybe you can recognize when you're doing these things to yourself and not wait until, you're, in my case, in your late 40s, or even if you are, maybe you can, cut it off now instead of continuing the cycle.
Let us be the ghosts of Christmas yet to come. Don't be like us.
In Christmas in January.
So, you join Weight Watchers. You start a plan. And when I say you, I mean me. Let's call her Catherine.
Let's call this mysterious person.
So you go in, you get all the materials. You're hardcore for a week. You do great. What do you do as a payoff for your reward for being down on the scale for a week? You go and get a pancake milkshake, don't you? Don't you, Donald?
Yes, I got a pancake milkshake.
So we use food as a reward for our quote unquote good behavior, and then we gain weight. Maybe for 2 or 3 weeks we do great at Weight Watchers. Maybe for unexplained reasons that are beyond our control, we're up on the scale a couple of pounds despite being totally awesome. We feel that any gain is a failure. A gain on the scale is a failure. And so our self-talk turns negative. Suddenly we're a failure. Suddenly it was a fluke. Suddenly, it's all over. We wait for the motivation bus to come back.
Yeah.
We lose track. And then we tell ourselves, you know what? I was right all along. Weight Watchers doesn't work.
I knew it.
I could never keep it together.
I knew I couldn't do it.
And we want to feel validated. Like, oh, you see, I told you it wasn't going to work. We want to confirm our beliefs that we are failures because we have spent so many years being failures. So we confirm, see, I'm broken. It doesn't work. It's not going to work for me. And so we go back to our old behaviors of gaining weight and not tracking our habits. And then we're up on the scale 20 pounds and we're shocked. And so we start the process over again. When that little bit of motivation bus comes back, we join Weight Watchers again. We say we're going to be hardcore again. And I did that for 15 years. I joined Weight Watchers 20 times and failed my way up the scale to 300 pounds. And I just thought it was the way life was. It was unfair. I didn't think of myself as sabotaging myself. I just thought it was circumstance.
Yeah, telling myself that I was too busy or too stressed or that I deserved this food. Or that I just couldn't be bothered with exercise right now because of everything else that was going on in my life. Like, I just kept making excuses, and what I was doing was just, sabotaging myself and not really wanting to put in the work that it takes to actually do this.
And y'all know that we have magically and seemingly just as easy as pie have lost over 250 pounds cumulatively.
It was effortless.
So effortless.
Effortless.
We must have great luck.
Those of you who can't pick up sarcasm, it was not effortless.
It was all the effort. But we see, and I still do this, I think I had lost in this last round 60 pounds or so, and I still felt like it was a fluke, that it was borrowed time, that it wasn't going to last.
Yeah.
And I kept telling myself, every day I doubted that I could lose 1 more pound. And I doubted...
Even when I set my goal, I ended up losing a little over 100 pounds. I I got my Fitbit and, it asks you to put in your target weight. Like, I put in a target weight of losing 70 pounds. And I still remember, like, laughing to myself, like, okay, I may as well put in a ridiculous amount of weight loss, like 70 pounds, which I know I'll never get to, but, I'll just put that in and that'll be my haha, must be nice.
That'll never
benchmark.
happen.
Yeah.
And then you want to prove yourself right. Like, see, I told you it wasn't.
Yeah, I told you I couldn't
You were
lose
in
70 pounds.
such a bad mood when you started losing weight.
Yes, I was.
But I believed in you, didn't I?
Wow. Yes, you believed in me.
I'm so humble.
You believed in me when I wouldn't believe in myself.
Well, and I think...
it's true, though.
Gosh, man, I'm so inspirational. I don't even remember all the things I say.
Can I just tell everyone? Everyone thinks you're such a good person.
No.
Like, seriously, minutes before we started recording this, she actually said, like, with no hint of like, joking.
We're going to end this episode
with
now.
no hint of irony. She actually said, man, I am too full of inspiration.
I said something that was very eloquent. I had posted in a group something very thoughtful, and I couldn't remember what it was.
She's so thoughtful, everyone. So inspiring.
I wanted to go and find it so that I could revisit my inspiration.
Oh, and she just came across too many inspiring things that she had said. There were so many.
Well, look, I don't remember where my keys are. Like, so I have to, when I write things down, I have to go back and find them because I'm like, wow, that was really thoughtful. I used a little bit of alliteration. Like, it is going to stick with people. Like, one and done. I can't remember what it was, but it was very inspiring. So I'll have to go back and find it.
In all seriousness, you inspire me every day. You really do.
I believe in you, but I find it hard to believe in myself because that seems boastful.
Yeah, and I've even said, I may be getting off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I've said, to Catherine, I am genuinely inspired by her all the time. Like, I see her doing a good habit, and I am, blown away sometimes under the circumstances at which she'll stick to what she said she was going to do. And thinking about her losing 150 pounds, like, I feel like it's an incredible, amazing achievement. And then I look at myself and I just sort of like go, I guess I lucked into it. I rode Catherine's coattails, like, whatever. And I'm even sort of unwilling to own it a lot of times.
Well, and I too, there are times when I feel inspiring, and then there are times, which is more than not, where I feel like I fell into this, that it was a fluke, and I think we're taught to not be boastful, and I feel I don't know if I feel guilty, but I feel like, oh, it's not a big deal. I didn't do anything. Like, these are the 10 reasons it was easy for me.
Not to be armchair sociologists,
and it wasn't easy
but I
for me.
think we're not supposed to take ownership of our accomplishments in society. Like, I feel like people don't like it when you pat yourself on the back. Like, it feels like bragging.
Well, and I think...
And so I think that leads, my point here is that I think it leads into the self-sabotage. Like, I didn't want to believe, I lost 50 pounds a couple of times before this, and, like, I didn't want to believe that I had actually accomplished anything, really good. And so then I made it so that I didn't. Like, I sabotaged myself so that I went back up on the scale, and so I didn't have to carry around that pride, which, you're not supposed to have.
Well, and I think we also came up with a second cycle of sabotage.
Cycle 2, everyone.
It's not
Buckle
a unicycle.
Up, Buttercup. You're about to get cycle 2.
It is not a unicycle of sabotage.
That would be great, though. The unicycle of sabotage.
I just imagine you juggling, and we are selling tickets to this, my friends.
Yeah, I was such a ladies' man in high school. I juggled and had a unicycle.
He is all mine,
which I never really got good at, but I did start a juggling club with another guy in high school.
People love clowns.
Yeah.
But there's the small cycle of sabotage, which I feel like I got past, and I pushed through it, and I told myself this time there was no giving up. There was no quitting for 2-3 months at a time, a year at a time. I just had to keep fighting through. But the kind of sabotage that comes with maintenance is totally different. And, Donald talked about losing 50 pounds before. I lost 115 pounds before. I had gotten up to 300. I lost 115. And I've said this before. I wrote an email to all of the family proclaiming my fixedness. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I proclaimed
you
that
fixed your way like back up 65 pounds
sure,
again. Yeah.
I don't know how it happened. But so the cycle of losing 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, and thinking of it as a finish line. Like, so Donald lost 50 pounds. He proclaimed himself fixed.
Yeah. And I would tell myself, look, I'm a genuine thin person now, whatever that is.
Yeah,
and, hey, I've beaten this. I can, I've reached the finish line. I'm done. I can eat whatever I want
Let
now.
us celebrate good times by getting copious amounts of takeout.
Yeah, and I would just settle back into old habits and, slowly erode what I had been doing. Many times because I had gotten there based on doing like Atkins or, giving up all the carbs or, trying meal shake or whatever, something that I just couldn't do for the rest of my life realistically.
Well, and two, there is a coasting period with any choice.
Yeah.
You can go a week or two getting takeout every other day and grabbing fistfuls of Lil Snackums at work.
Lil Snackums is my alternate rap name.
And not...
I released my solo album under Lil Snackums.
Oh my gosh, I would pay for that. I picture your baseball cap on, tilted in a jaunty sideways fashion. And
in my band, I'm a little fun size, but my solo album.
Lil Snackums.
Little Snackums.
So you lose 50 pounds. You think you're fixed. You start coasting. You start adding in more indulgences. And for a while, your pants fit.
Yeah.
Your pants fit. You're fine.
Maybe even I get on the scale and I'm like, oh, look, I'm fine. I'm
up 5 pounds.
Whatever. I can easily lose 5
well,
pounds.
And the good news is I left my larger jean size in my closet just in case I gained a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
Well, and in 2019, like, stretchy pants are the new jeans, so...
Oh, everything's a jegging and a legging.
Yeah.
Donald does not wear jeggings.
A leg jegging.
Yeah. So...
I don't know.
So, like Donald said, habits erode. You start gaining a little bit of weight. You chalk it up to a season. You chalk it up to, it's not a big deal. I'm just up a little bit. But then suddenly you're shocked. You wake up 6 months later in a powdery, cheesy Dorito dust haze, and you wonder how you're up on the scale 50 pounds again. It's not fair. See?
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Snorting Doritos dust like it's Coke in the 80s.
But failure is familiar. Failure confirms our beliefs that we are not capable of keeping off 50 pounds. It's not fair, Donald.
Yeah, and it's all forms of self-sabotage. These are all ways of lying to ourselves, really. And, I used to lie to myself all the time, and I would lie to myself, back up the scale to where I started and beyond.
Well, and, we've talked about this, too. Because that's all we do is we keep talking about. This is just a remix of all the other things we've told you.
Yeah, exactly. Remix. I like that.
So I spent 2 decades bargaining against my own health, proving myself wrong, proving myself, oh, yep, you were right all along. I would never fit into that. I would never be able to do this. I'd never be able to keep it up. And it feels comfortable to go back to old habits. It feels familiar.
It's like that nice pair of pajamas, or
like those cozy flannels that you jump back into. It is easy to go back.
So sexy
to the old way. Not sexy, but I still struggle with that notion of feeling like a fraud and a failure. And if I'm up on the scale 6 pounds like I was over the holidays, how can I inspire anybody? I can't even inspire myself.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Wow, that voice got high.
So sabotage comes back quickly. And it distracts us from what we're capable of. It lies to us. It's our old self coming back and tempting us back into those old dark waters.
Yeah, and I think, speaking of lying, I've had to get really, really honest with myself. And I think it's been one of the keys to being able to keep weight off now for a year. and to get it off in the first place is I used to lie to myself all the time. I used to tell myself, that I didn't have a choice because I didn't want a choice. And I actually just stole that from a Shonda Rhimes thing that Catherine posted. But it's true. It really resonated with me. Like, I had to be honest with myself and realize that I was lazy. I am lazy. Like, I don't want to do all of these things. Like, deep in my heart, I don't really want to have to track all my food. I just want to be somebody who can eat whatever they want and lay around and not do all of these things and just, be the perfect weight anyway. And I'm just not that person. And I would all the time tell myself that, I'm just too stressed right now to eat well. I just can't do it. I don't, but really I just didn't want to do it. The idea of actually like tracking my food and having to stay on a plan, just seemed like so much work to me. And once I got honest with myself and realized that I was actually just sabotaging myself is when things actually started to go my way.
Well, and I think too, and I've had to face this myself because my maintenance has not been a glassy, smooth Zamboni surface upon which to skate.
That's a nice image you put there.
Zamboni.
Yeah.
I don't know. Please cut that out. Whoever,
No.
let's put our people on it
No,
to
I'm not
cut
cutting.
that out.
I'm refusing. You don't know how to edit the podcast. And
I don't.
I'm refusing.
This
to cut that
podcast
out.
literally would not happen
I
without
may even
Donald.
add a thing at the end where you're just saying like Zamboni, Boni.
So failure gives us something to aspire to. Everybody likes a rags to riches story, right?
Yeah, they
it
do.
gets boring when the riches part happens. That's when the credit rolls. So I lose weight and then I gain weight and then I have something to do with my time. I got to lose weight again, right?
Yeah.
And someone, let's call her Deanna, actually called me out on that. She said that I like having a goal. I like having something to on the horizon to look forward to, and that perhaps gaining weight gave me a goal.
I think you've just blown my mind because I never thought about that for myself, but I think I also like having a goal, which is why I refuse to just accept the fact that like my current weight is my goal weight, and I keep thinking I should lose like 2 or 3 more pounds.
See? But like that was some cold, hard, straight up knowledge with that because I am goal oriented and like weight has been my 90% of my life from age 6 until now.
Oh yeah, it's like all consuming. It's like weight and cartoons.
Well, and what?
That's me. I'm actually talking about.
That is his other. That's his
10%,
album title.
10% cartoons, 90% thinking about my weight and food.
But it's like I identified so much of my life about why my success or failure in life was like, well, I didn't get the job because of my weight. I'm not more successful in life because of my weight. I don't have more friends because of my weight. Like that isn't a barrier now. And I'm still me. And that harsh reality of what is on the other side of the door, if I don't have my weight to focus on, like, what do thin people think about? Like, if they don't have, please tell us if you're thin and you've been listening this long.
What do you actually think about if you're not obsessing about food all the time? Yeah, and I've really had to sadly focus on becoming a better person. Like,
Don wholeheartedly admits that he is not a good person, but I come off as a caring,
you
generous
you're
person.
You're like secret eating, except it's like secretly not being a good person.
That's a whole other thing. But may I read the Brooke Castillo quote?
Hey, this is half your podcast. You may do it.
Okay. So I was listening to the Brooke Castillo podcast a while ago, and she had an episode about, I can't remember the exact title of it, but it was like the fear of success or something like that. And I was like, I don't need to listen to this episode. I'm successful. I'm fine. Like, I don't have to manage that. Turns out I do.
Yeah, there's lots of people saying must be nice right now. Yeah.
But she said this, and bear with me, it's long, so I'll try to go slowly. We build something amazing, but it doesn't allow for the self-loathing that we've had. And so we sabotage our success so we can go back to the part where we identify as a failure.
Boom.
Like, that is huge.
Yeah.
We identify as failures. Everything that we've told ourselves about our self-worth, our value, our productivity is all tied to our failures and our weight.
Yeah, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, I would tell myself that I just couldn't do it, that my metabolism just wasn't like other people, and therefore I just, wouldn't do it. And I would make up all of these excuses that would sabotage me.
Well, and we, identifying as failures, it's hard to identify as a success.
Yeah.
I feel shame around that. Oh, well, I had it easy. I don't know. I just kind of made it happen. We have done something huge.
Yeah.
Was it easy?
No.
No.
Look, I have to say, this is the sort of fun police part of this. It is a lot of work. And I know I've talked many times on this podcast about how, don't become overwhelmed, do it one tiny step at a time. It is actual work, and the pounds are not just going to melt off, and it's not going to be easy, but doing it feels so amazing, and recognizing and owning that accomplishment feels amazing. And instead of sabotaging myself the way I used to, I now recognize when I'm doing it. And I now know that when I'm trying to talk myself into eating something because I'm too stressed or because I deserve it, I now recognize that I'm doing it. And I realize, hey, don't do that, I say to myself.
Those are some tough words,
Yeah,
Donald.
I know.
Hey, buddy.
Listen,
Hey,
guy.
Friend.
Listen, you crumb bum. Don't do that to yourself.
You take the cake.
I don't like calling myself a crumb bum.
But that notion of owning success, owning choices, and even
owning failure and realizing that you're doing it to yourself and you're the cause of it, and it's not all these external factors, is huge.
Well, and I think we'll talk about this more, but in another episode, but I posted a photo of me in my size 24 jeans because it was my 3-year anniversary of being on this joint venture practice.
Yeah.
We need to come up with a whole new word.
I
some
know.
sort of farfignugan.
I know. We need to get a thesaurus.
Make up a word like Frusenglasia.
I almost said buy a thesaurus as if the internet doesn't exist.
Yay for the internet. We can all agree. That's one thing we can all agree on.
Yeah.
But that idea of being okay with owning your success and being proud of it instead of sheepish, which I think I am sometimes.
Yeah.
I actually speaking of sheepish, I literally go to bed.
Beep, beep, I'm a sheep.
Beep, beep, I'm a sheep. When I hit the pillow every night, I'm not, patting myself on the back for all of my successes and all of the things that I have fought against and my unlikely rags to riches. I don't know. Size 24 to not size 24 successes. I actually scan my mind palace for all of the failures in my life, all the ways I failed today.
You have a mind palace,
I have a mind palace. It's more of a mind shack, but I really go back to remember in 7th grade when you did this bad thing, or oh gosh, the thing I said to our daughter that maybe wasn't the great aspirational thing that Mary Poppins would say. I scan all that, and I often fall asleep thinking about all the ways that I failed. And that is just me going back to not owning the successes that I've had and the unlikely positive things that have happened.
I can't stand it. I know you planned it.
That is our 3rd sabotage in a week. But as Donald said, Buster Rhymes' sister, Shonda Rhimes, is very successful. I was going to try to work that in a different way. Aren't they brother and sister?
Oh my God.
I was trying to spell her name.
That is Hilarious.
I was trying to spell her name earlier. I'm not a very good speller, people. And I tried to like type in rhymes and it came up Busta Rhymes. And I was like, oh, it turns out that is Busta Rhymes. That's how he spells his name. But Shonda Rhimes spells it different. They are not siblings.
That is hilarious.
But like Shonda Rhimes, her book, The Year of Yes, talks about, she is very successful, but she has crippling social anxiety and she is working on, I haven't finished the book. I don't know how it ends.
Turns out her crippling social anxiety wins.
The end. Buy my book. Grey's Anatomy for some reason. I never watched any of her shows. She is a stranger to me, but I'm reading the book. I'm going to see what happens with it. But she talks about automatically saying no, automatically pulling back and just assuming that failure is the only option instead of success being an option. So we're working on that. It's still a process for us. Even as inspiring as we are, it feels doofy to say that we're inspiring. Like, I know it's our catchphrase and our joke, and like we're like, no, we're not.
We're joking about
we're
it.
We're doofy goofballs.
We're hoping that, sincerely that we are encouraging others to do what we've done, or do their version of what we've done. And, we really do want to, own our successes deep down and not sabotage ourselves. And
for you out there, every day that you're fighting for yourself is a success. Every day that you're not giving in to temptations, every day that you're being more honest with yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And fighting even for 5 minutes a day, going out for a walk, like that is an amazing success. And do not short yourself.
At the end of the day, don't go looking for the terrible thing you did in 7th grade. In really even more immediately, don't, try not to beat yourself up for the things that you didn't do right. Focus on the things you did do right. You probably have done dozens of great things today, and you probably will do more tomorrow. So focus on those things rather than the things that you didn't do well.
Yeah. And so look at that unicycle of sabotage, that bicycle of sabotage, and look for those habits of negative self-talk that can drag you down. Look for those times where you hide those canaries, that those telltale signs that you're losing sight of your
Canary
your
in the Coal Mine is a wonderful episode of this show.
It's a wonderful episode. So watch out for the sabotage. Do you sabotage? Does any of this resonate with you? Are you still listening? Let us know.
We would love to hear about it.
We would love to hear about it. So that's all on sabotage, y'all.
I think it's now time for the product of the week.
Pow,
everybody. Wow, that was a really long pow you just gave.
I know. I wanted to make it impactful.
Pow,
everybody.
The
what is it?
Product of the week is get yourself some actual grown-up, real running or walking shoes.
You're a grown-up.
Yeah.
You are a grown-up. My dear mother, I found out that she had...
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. You're wonderful and supportive and amazing. But if she's listening, I don't even know. I found out that she had running shoes that were 10 years old. They don't last that long.
Yeah.
Invest in some expensive shoes.
Yeah,
it's so worth
I understand that everyone's financial situation is different, and not everyone can do this. And there was a time in my life where spending $100 on a pair of running shoes just seemed impossible and extravagant. And you know what? With all this walking that we do, it's an investment in my health. It's an investment in making sure that my feet and legs stay healthy and that I continue to have my mobility into my older age. And I am worth it. And I had to tell myself that. And it makes a huge difference. And replacing them periodically, I figured out how often I should replace them based on experts online, and I just do it. And it's just an expense that I am willing to do because I'm worth it.
Well, and two, if you think about it, I mean, for us, we do not have gym memberships. But we do spend our money on shoes, and I also spend a lot of money on insoles.
Insoles, yeah.
Like,
I buy insoles too. Not quite as expensive as what
I have
Catherine gets.
a heel spur,
Yeah.
which doesn't go away with losing weight, and having really comfortable shoes enables me to walk like we did 5 miles this morning, and my feet feel fresh as a daisy.
Yes, mine as well.
And at least I do. I feel weird spending $100 on something.
Oh, I mean, I grew up being told that, $20 shoes were just as good.
The Bobos.
Yeah, Bobos, they make your feet feel fine.
Get off brand, get low quality. Like, arch support is important to me. Heel protection is important to me. I need my feet.
Yeah, when I first started increasing my walking, my feet would kill me. And it turns out having good shoes actually really helps that.
Well, and Nicole, who is in our accountability group, who is also a wonderful friend and inspiration in her own right. I remember when she would say, like, oh, I'm on my, 8th pair of shoes this year. And I'd be like, oh, whoa, must be nice.
Yeah, like, why is that necessary?
But you think about, investing $100 in making sure that your feet are safe and cushioned, and that you don't hurt yourself, and that you don't get calluses. Do what you can. Take a moment. Think about all the other things that you spend money on. Takeout, Starbucks. What else do people spend money on? Gym memberships. And just know that it will pay off. And if you're somebody who uses your feet, let us know. But really, it is a small price to pay for comfort. I used to wear cruddy shoes and not be able to walk. Now I wear great shoes and I am able to walk.
And I wear Brooks shoes. I will put some links in the show notes, and there are some relatively inexpensive insoles that I get. And what's that brand you buy? Hoka?
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Hoka. Hoka 1-on-1. They are very cushiony. I think they might count in the platform category of running shoe. They are probably have like an 1.5 inch insole that are very cushy, and it is important to me, and it pays dividends in my health.
Yeah, but there are lots and lots of really good shoes. But if you're doing a lot of walking, I do not recommend settling for a $40 pair of shoes. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth.
It is. So that works for us, and that is our product of the week.
Pow, everybody.
So I'm wearing mine right now.
Yeah, I am not, but
he is not.
But I did earlier when we went on our
I hate
long
not wearing
walk.
shoes. I hate it. I hate it. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about you.
When you're wow. Well, when you're not thinking about me, you can think about us and go to, that made no sense at all, but you can find us on Facebook. Search for We Only Look Thin.
You can find us on Instagram at We Only Look Thin. You can email us at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
You can follow our Twitter at We Only Look Thin.
There's not a lot going on there. I'm going to say it.
I'm going to step up my game. It's one of my New Year's resolutions for 2019. I'm going to tweet more.
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
Cuckoo!
Yeah, you're going to get some tweets, and you're going to like them.
Do you like tweets? Do you tweet? I don't know how a tweet works.
I actually meant you were just going to like the tweets, not that you were going to actually click the like button.
Click and like.
I'm not sure. I think you can heart a tweet. This shows how much I know about Twitter.
What's the internet?
Yeah.
Help me load AOL on my...
Yeah. Exactly.
On my Commodore 64. So there's lots of ways to get in touch. For those of you listening, and you want more accountability and more ways to connect with us and our total unabashed inspiration, we're opening up Wolt Place in the coming time. I'm not exactly sure when, but we've been running an accountability group for almost a year now, and it is a small, safe place to share your thoughts and your hopes and your dreams out of the prying eye of the public.
Be who you are while working on the person you want to be.
Exactly. So we will put something in the show notes about how to sign up for more information on that. But I, all jokes aside and all snarkiness aside, 3 years ago, I never could have imagined being where we are right now. I love helping people. I love supporting people on their journeys. The idea that I have any hope to give to anyone is just so humbling and so overwhelming. And I want all of us to succeed. This never ends. The challenge keeps coming.
Seriously,
the urge to sabotage.
Catherine and I can do it, anyone can. Like, we were the worst of the worst when it came to like gaining weight.
We were, and I am so grateful for this platform, and I'm so grateful for our listeners. And so all snark aside, like, this is so important to us, and we just feel so grateful for the platform to share our experiences and to support our community with a safe place to not be drawn in by gimmicks and fads and tricks. Like, it feels so wonderful. So to our members, thank you so much for trusting us with your journeys. And to those who want a safe place, you can find more in our show notes about how to get in touch. It's also on our Facebook page. There's a link to sign up for more information. So that is enough of my heartfeltedness. It feels awkward and exposed to be so genuine.
Well,
so I'm going to stop it.
Please stop. You're making me nervous as well. No, I don't know. So when you are thinking about seriously contemplating sabotaging yourself, always remember that Catherine and I are
an inspiration, Asian, y'all.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.
Zamboni.